Force the vote, sure, was a failure. 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 Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. Only the really,
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to say this,
sure, was a
but
failure.
those with the lowest
Force the
IQ.
vote, sure, was a
Only the
failure.
really,
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to say this,
Force the vote,
but
sure,
those
was a
with the
failure.
lowest IQ.
Force the vote,
Only
sure,
the
was a failure.
really,
Force the vote, sure, was a
I hate to
failure.
say this, but
Force the
those
vote,
with the
sure, was a
lowest
failure.
IQ. Only
Force
the
the vote, sure, was a
really,
failure. Force the
I
vote,
hate to
sure, was
say
a
this,
failure.
but those with
Force
the
the vote,
lowest
sure, was a
IQ.
failure.
Only the
Force the
really,
vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to
Force the
say
vote,
this,
sure, was a
but
failure.
those with the lowest
Force the
IQ.
vote, sure, was a
Only
failure.
the really,
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to say this,
Force the vote,
but
sure,
those
was a
with
failure.
the lowest IQ.
Force the
Only
vote,
the
sure, was a failure.
really,
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
This, but those
Force the
with
vote,
the
sure,
lowest
was a
IQ.
failure.
Only the
Force the vote,
really,
sure, was a failure.
I
Force
hate
the
to
vote,
say
sure, was
this,
a failure.
but those with the
Force
lowest
the vote,
IQ.
sure, was a failure.
Only the really,
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to say
Force the
this,
vote, sure, was
but
a
those
failure.
with the lowest IQ.
Force the vote, sure, was
Only
a failure.
the really,
Force the vote, sure, was a
I
failure.
hate to say this,
Force the
but
vote,
those
sure, was
with
a
the
failure.
lowest IQ.
Force the
Only
vote,
the
sure, was a failure.
really,
Force the
I
vote, sure,
hate
was
to
a
say
failure.
this, but
Force
those
the
with
vote,
the
sure,
lowest
was a failure.
IQ. Only the
Force the vote,
really,
sure, was a failure.
I
Force the
hate
vote,
to
sure,
say
was a
this,
failure.
but those with the
Force the
lowest
vote, sure,
IQ.
was a failure.
Only the really,
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to
Force
say
the
this,
vote, sure, was a
but those
failure.
with the lowest IQ.
Force the vote, sure, was a
Only
failure.
the really,
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to say this,
Force the
but
vote, sure,
those
was a
with the
failure.
lowest IQ.
Force the
Only
vote,
the
sure, was a
really,
failure. Force the vote,
I
sure,
hate
was a
to say
failure.
this, but those
Force the
with
vote,
the
sure,
lowest
was a failure.
IQ. Only the
Force the vote,
really,
sure, was a failure.
I
Force the
hate
vote,
to say
sure, was a
this,
failure.
but those with the
Force the
lowest
vote,
IQ.
sure, was a failure.
Only the really,
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to
Force
say
the
this,
vote, sure, was a
but those
failure.
with the lowest IQ.
Force the vote, sure, was a
Only
failure.
the really,
Force the vote, sure, was a
I
failure.
hate to say this,
Force the vote,
but
sure,
those
was a
with the
failure.
lowest IQ.
Force the
Only
vote, sure,
the
was a failure.
really,
Force the vote,
I
sure, was a
hate to say
failure.
this, but
Force
those
the
with
vote,
the
sure, was a
lowest
failure.
IQ. Only
Force
the
the vote, sure, was a failure.
I
Force the
hate
vote,
to
sure,
say
was a
this,
failure.
but those with the
Force the
lowest
vote, sure,
IQ.
was a failure.
Only the
Force
really,
the vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to
Force
say
the vote,
this,
sure, was a
but
failure.
those with the lowest
Force
IQ.
the vote, sure, was a
Only
failure.
the really,
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to say this,
Force the vote,
but
sure, was
those
a
with
failure.
the lowest IQ.
Force the vote,
Only
sure,
the
was a failure.
really,
Force the vote,
I
sure, was a
hate to
failure.
say this, but
Force the
those
vote,
with the
sure, was a
lowest
failure.
IQ. Only
Force
the
the vote, sure, was a failure.
really, I
Force the
hate
vote,
to
sure,
say
was a
this,
failure.
but those with the
Force the
lowest
vote, sure, was a
IQ.
failure.
Only the
Force the
really,
vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to
Force the
say
vote,
this,
sure, was a
but
failure.
those with the lowest
Force the
IQ.
vote, sure, was a
Only
failure.
the really,
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I hate to say this,
Force the vote,
but
sure, was
those
a
with
failure.
the lowest IQ.
Force the vote,
Only
sure,
the
was a failure.
really,
Force the vote, sure,
I
was a
hate to
failure.
say this, but
Force the
those
vote,
with
sure,
the
was a
lowest
failure.
IQ. Only the
They're not
really
accountable to anyone.
I hate
I
to
get
say
10 to
this,
12
but
million
those
views
with
a
the
month,
lowest
and they won't come out
IQ,
and address
only
my
the
progressive
really
audience. They won't come out and address
I
Bree's
hate to
audience,
say
or
this,
Cheney's
but
audience,
those with
or
the
Justice
lowest
Jackson,
IQ,
or
only
you.
the
They are not
really
accountable to us.
failure.
They are accountable to
Force
the
the vote, sure,
formula
was a failure.
The lowest
themselves.
IQ,
Let's not
Force the
kid
vote, sure, was a
ourselves.
failure.
As Chris Hedges
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
the people at press
those with
politics
the
are
lowest IQ,
mediocre.
only the
Not your
really
friends.
Force the
I
vote,
hate
sure,
to
was a
say
failure.
this,
Endorsing
but those
hashtag
with
the
the
vote.
lowest
All those
IQ,
motherfuckers
only
who didn't
Force the
show
vote,
up
sure,
today
was a
at our
failure.
town hall. Every
Force the vote,
fucking
sure,
one
was
of
a
them
failure.
is selling you out
Force the
and
vote, sure, was a
canceling you
failure.
for their own personal
Force the
gain.
vote, sure, was a failure. Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
Hello, users, and welcome to another show. I got a show for y'all today, and it's a show. Hey, how's it going? I woke up about 20 minutes ago. Not gonna lie, folks. I stayed up until like 2 a.m. So, apple juice. Yep. Yes, I am consuming apple juice. So yeah. I know that everyone's going to want to talk about the bullshit. I'm aware of that. I know that that's what people are here for. And so I will not provide that material yet because I want to get through some important stuff first. So that's how that is. Folks, retweet the goddamn on Twitter. Share this shit on Facebook. We have these social media platforms. They exist. Why not use them for my benefit? I'm drinking rye juice, to be more specific. All right, folks. Yesterday was the 204th daily demonstration in... Oh no, my shit broke. God damn it. Fuck my... Alright, let's try that again. Boom, there we go. My apologies, folks. Alright, so yesterday was the 204th day of demonstrations in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, over the police shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. that took place on April 21st, 2021. There have been daily demonstrations demanding the release of the body camera footage for 204 days. There have been daily demonstrations reminding the people that live here that the police, the sheriff's department specifically, acted extrajudicially and murdered one of our neighbors, and that is unacceptable. For 204 days, the people of Elizabeth City have decided that, it's not okay to just go back to business as usual. Drawing Black Lives Matter on the street, but not, properly detailing it or not paying the people who did it. I'm sorry, that's not going to do enough. But hey, you got a nice little trophy in the city hall. That's great. I'm glad you got your trophy. How about maybe paying the artists? Maybe. How about maybe doing literally anything for the Brown family? I don't know. That's a little rough for the city council. They're more interested in doing a lockdown and then voting to increase their all their salaries when the pandemic started. Right. So there have been for 204 days consecutively residents of Elizabeth City and Pasquotank County that find the idea that a monument that was voted to be removed in July of 2020 still being there is problematic. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's just straight up racism. Ever since Andrew Brown Jr. was shot and murdered by the Pasquotank County sheriff deputies, the monument somehow mysteriously went from about to be moved to an eternal limbo. Mysteriously, all of a sudden, when there's protest demonstrations in this city, all of a sudden it was going to be moved, and now we can't move it anymore. That's weird. But hey, folks, don't worry. Robert Morgan, one of the officers who murdered Andrew Brown Jr., got a paid vacation. So everything is fine, actually. But wait, they also got a raise. That's great. Isn't that wonderful to know that the person who assassinated your neighbor got a pay bump and got to sit on the couch watching Amazon Prime Video for the last, couple months? Just, free paid vacation. I want a paid vacation. How about anyone else? What do I need to do to get a paid vacation in the United States of America? You want to know what to do? It's easy. It takes less than a year. So 8 months and you become a sheriff deputy. Then you get the gun. Just kill a random black guy. Try not to do it, try to put your hand on their car first, maybe. Right? Just kill a black guy and then boom. You can get as many months paid vacation as you want. And guess what? Guess who pays you? The fucking taxpayer. That's who fucking pays you. Yeah, that's right. Because this fucking country is garbage. It's set up like garbage. It's run by garbage. And everyone in positions of power, especially in Elizabeth City and Pasquotank County, is garbage. There's not a single person with any power that has actually been using it for anything other than garbage in this fucking city and in this fucking county. And we're seeing the reaction to this police assassination is very part and parcel of it. They're all trying to get their goodies. Oh, I took a selfie with the guy who I didn't pay to do the street art of Black Lives Matter. Ooh, look at me. Right. Oh, I got a little business loan for my small business that I can use to profit off of the residents that voted me in. Wow, look at me. I'm so special. Oh, wow, there's so much turmoil going on. I guess I won't seek another term and just let a rabid right-wing sociopath rapist just run for me instead, because why not? And I'm not going to bother using my political, coalition or apparatus to do anything at all about securing the mayoral race. I'm just ranting and raving at this point. My point here is that Elizabeth City, the elected officials and the people that are right now trying to become elected officials are fucking crazy. The right wing is fucking crazy, right? We have someone running for mayor who literally participated in a rape snuff film with the police. They were a member of the police. Now they're running for mayor. Isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that fantastic? That's the world that we're dealing with in Elizabeth City, right? And it takes someone being shot and murdered by the police force here for anyone to even remotely look into what's going on in city politics. So I think I think the whole thing is just a shit show. I think that government in America, as it is right now, as it's constructed, is a shit show. And 204 days of daily demonstrations yet to prove me incorrect. So, I don't know. Elizabeth City's fucked, and we got to do something about it. How am I not tired? Are you talking to me, Paladin? Oh. How's it going, Ethan? What will I bless you with today? Now, that's a good question. I have something in my pocket. Don't worry about that. Now that's a good question. All right, folks. I thought that this story was very interesting, so I'm going to talk about this. Got an ad, the 30-second ad, so before this segment starts. How's it going, folks? Iter? I don't know what that means. Sleep when you're dead? Gotta be on that Sigma grind set. Yo, I am the Alpha Sigma Omega debate bro. Sigma is the boss in the Mega Man X series. Alright, folks. So, I don't know if I'm going to get through this whole thing, but it's going to be pretty great. So, it's very, very, very rare for a communist like myself, a rabid Antifa shitlid Democrat like myself, to put on a Fox News segment and agree with it. But it's happened. Let's watch. All right, let's skip this bullshit.
I mean, the topic is about drugs. I can't say if the panelists are all on drugs. But let's just say the dogs hired by security to sniff for contraband started humping Kat's book bag and then passed out from a contact high. R.I.P. dogs. But first, Harris Faulkner is...
So I really need to talk about how unfunny Greg Gutfeld is. Like, I know, right? He's unfunny. But he's on Fox News speaking to Republicans who worship everything he says, and he's being pro-drug. So let's just listen to it, right? Let's just listen to it. Let's hear him out, and let's see. That, like, again, Fox News is now against the drug war.
I wonder what she could be happy about.
I'm happy about this because just 15 minutes ago, the tattoo that I had of Greg Gutfeld on my thigh, like lower thigh, like by my knee, by my knee, it's gone.
Wow.
I saw it. Bye, Greg.
You think I would not include that in the show, Harris?
My husband now has to see that twice.
Yes, well...
Okay, I don't care about this.
But, and, I'm very excited. We got a first-time guest, Dr. Carl Hart. Carl is a professor
I ran out of characters,
of psychology
Anastasia?
at Columbia. Relax, Cat. He doesn't do outpatients. But Dr. Hart, where's that book? Dr. Hart wrote one of the bravest books you're going to find, Drug Use for Grown-Ups. Oh, there it is. That was my major at Berkeley. I still can't believe he didn't ask me to write the foreword. So the book is about legalizing drugs. It might piss some of you off, but that's what the drugs are for. But the book isn't just about legalizing the easy ones like pot or mushrooms or the window cleaner that Cat mixes with Gatorade. But heroin. Now, this is when people say, no, not heroin.
So again, like I hate this little animation of this. But again, this is Fox News. Now again, the guy's not that funny, right? Like, it's kind of cringeworthy to watch. But again, I think it's a big deal when Fox News, a far-right news network, is all of a sudden saying that we need to legalize heroin. I think, hey, and now I just want to say, this is one of my, I take, the drug war, I think, is one of my biggest political projects personally. I think that it is one of the largest crimes against humanity. The outlawing of drugs and then, drawing these bizarre red lines where, like, alcohol, God bless it, is legal, but marijuana isn't. I think that is bizarre, right? So I think that the war on drugs as a society, as a culture, I think is one of the biggest setbacks in human history. I'm not going to lie, right? So again, this is something that I take to be a huge win for that. Like, if there are people out there that watch this and go like, oh, damn, maybe I should advocate to end the drug war. That's good. That's good?
It does. The lost souls on the streets, haunting city corners like ghostly zombies, living for a fix. That's true. We indeed have problems. But here's the deal. That's happening while the drugs are illegal. Yet they're easier to get than COVID. Even my cat is dealing drugs. Could have been more subtle.
That's pretty funny. I'm not going to lie. I'm not laughing, but it's funny.
While we pour billions into a drug war, not unlike Afghanistan, we just keep getting our ass kicked. We fund other countries' militaries to fight the drug trade, then let anyone walk across the border with a bindle up their butt. It's more counterproductive than a broom that shoots glitter. In 2019, over 70,000 people died from overdoses in the U.S. That's 70,000 more people than have read Kilmeade's new book. Make a joke about drug death. But during the pandemic, that number exploded, probably because we were all trapped inside watching CNN. But what is causing this wave of death? Don't blame prescription opioids, because as we cut down on that, the death rates skyrocket. No, today overdoses are driven by fentanyl. And like the coronavirus and cheap patio furniture, it's made in China. It comes through our southern border and it's mixed into other street drugs to kick it up a notch. It's basically hamburger.
So I don't really know why or how they're pulling like the anti-China stuff in it. So again, I don't think that this is relevant to the situation. But again, they're trying to sell ending the drug war to far-right Republican racists who don't believe in science. Right? So again, hey, I take this as a win. I'm going to see how much more I can stomach of this. But again, I am very shocked and surprised that something like this exists.
Burger helper for junkies. Tell us, Lara Logan.
When the pandemic hit, we realized, without China, we got no antibiotics.
Right.
We got no medical equipment. So what did they do to change that? Mm-hmm. Nothing. Right? And when China got all that capability, that's how they found the analogs for fentanyl, which they then introduced as a street drug, made a deal with the Mexican cartels, and now they've got, how many Americans are dying every year, and we hear nothing about it. I mean, go to San Francisco, nobody cares that you got people standing on the street, pissing on themselves, and, and defecating everywhere, and unable to function. And what do they say? Well, let's reduce the mandatory minimum sentencing for fentanyl. That's what the Biden administration Justice Department is working on right now.
So, during 12 months of the pandemic, nearly 100,000 Americans have died from ODs. That's a 30% jump. Experts blame it on the stay-at-home orders. I don't buy it, because when it comes to this stuff, the government is like our president's underpants, full of crap. I feel bad just saying that. But especially when it comes to health, it's true. Remember the nutrition pyramid? It was everywhere. Classrooms, waiting rooms, the shed where I keep the au pair. But also cereal boxes. Yeah, imagine that. A box of carbs says you should stuff your face with carbs. Sadly,
Folks, again, I need to remind you all, this is Fox News. Fox News is advocating, hey, I don't know what's going on in the world. I think there's a glitch in the simulation. Fox News is advocating to end the drug war, and they are making fun of the food pyramid? Hey, that's a double win. That's huge.
I had a typo, and I was eating 30 pounds of crabs a month. But a cereal company telling you to eat more carbs. It's like the diamond industry, telling you how many months' salary you should spend on an engagement ring. We thought we were following the science, but we should have been following the money. Cookie Crisp had parents thinking kids started their day right by eating a bowl of cookies. It's amazing.
Folks, I would like to remind us, again, I know this is a very non-standard. I'm trying to still wrap my brain around this. Right? Fox News is mocking 95% of Americans who don't know how to feed themselves. Again, folks, there's a 2019 study that found only 5% of American citizens know how to fucking eat food. What I mean by that, the study found only 5% of Americans eat enough fiber for the dietary guidelines that they laid out. Now, personally, I think the dietary guidelines are a little low. They're on the low end. So only about 5% of Americans are getting the bare minimum amount of fiber in their diets. What is fiber found in? Vegetables, right? So that means 95% of Americans are afraid of eating vegetables, right? Hey, I didn't say it. Fox News said it. I said it. Fox News said it. Hey, I'm just saying. It's weird. It's strange.
Stories about fake doctors tricking women into physical checkups. That's what this is. And yes, I stopped doing it years ago. They repossessed my van. But this chart was dead wrong and deadly. You had processed carbs in huge quantities, turning healthy kids into mini Brian Stelters. Right now, our adult obesity rate is 42%, up from 34% just 10 years earlier. The only thing rising faster is our blood sugar. So what's that got to do with drugs? Well, the same people who lied about food are lying about drugs. Right now, when the government or media reports ODs, just like the crime stats, they never get specific. They never tell the whole truth. It's about illegal fentanyl, not prescription drugs. And it's not overdoses, it's poisonings. People buy drugs with fentanyl in it, and they die, including people.
So really what this story is, I don't know if he's going to get into it here, because I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen the clip all the way through. But what's happening here is, again, people are buying what they believe is something like heroin, or what they believe is something like a Percocet, but instead it's cut with fentanyl, which is a much stronger kind of version of these drugs. And so they're overdosing because they're taking a dose that they are under the assumption that is easy for them to handle, but it's not, right? It would be like if I were drinking a shot of vodka or something and it turns out it was Everclear. Whoops, I didn't sign up for that, but let's say I'm pounding back 4 shots of vodka, but wait, they're 4 shots of Everclear. Now I've got alcohol poisoning. That's kind of the idea here, is a lot of these drugs are cut with fentanyl, right? And that's because the whole entire drug trade is unregulated, and it's a cutthroat capitalist industry where people are trying to maximize their profits. And because they're not even worried about the law, because the whole thing is black market to begin with, they're going to be maximizing profits as much as they possibly can. And so that's why you end up with a lot of these batches of all kinds of drugs that are cut with things like fentanyl. And it's resulting in a lot of overdose deaths, right? And because, again, if you're taking 3 pills and you know that you can handle up to 5, but you want to get a really good buzz or whatever, turns out those 3 pills are really equivalent to 12. Whoops, you're dead now? Hey, what the hell's going on here?
That from Tom Petty to Michael K. Williams to athletes and actors. But the people you heard of dying of opiate overdoses, it's actually fentanyl poisoning. Not prescriptions, but a poison used to kill people deliberately. It's the biggest story you aren't hearing because all you hear is the word overdoses. And the worst part of this, patients who rely on legal opioids for cancer, pain, and other diseases can't get them because we've conflated safe drugs with fentanyl. But that's pretending 2 totally different things are the same, like CNN and news. Long way for a joke. When it's really actually terrorism, and it drives legal users to illegal stuff, and they die because they can't control the dosage. Or like hot dogs, they just don't know what's in it. Imagine you could only buy cigarettes illegally, but one cigarette had 1,000 times the nicotine. You would die, or at least sound like Cat. But instead, you can go to any market and buy a carton. In San Francisco, they even let you take it. But the dosage is controlled. Meanwhile, stats show addiction is actually rare among prescription opioids, and overdoses are nearly impossible to find. I bet you didn't know that, because we're operating on the lie of all drugs bad and punish the law-abiding. Here's an analogy you'll understand. What's the biggest complaint by gun owners? No, it's not that the gun jams when watching The View. It's that the laws punish the law-abiding while doing nothing about illegal guns fueling street violence. It's the same argument here. We punish the law-abiding and let the lawless kill.
So I don't necessarily think that this is a perfect analogy here, but again, I'm going to stop this whole segment here because they're just going to do a bunch of bullshit. But again, I think that this is incredible. I think that the idea that Fox News is mainstreaming, and again, they're wrapping it around their xenophobia against China. They're wrapping it around hating Democrats and CNN, of course. Right, this is Fox News. But again, they are trying to sell the idea that we need to end the war on drugs. And that's a win. And again, I know Gutfeld is cringy and not funny, so I'm not going to watch any more of this. I'm sorry for subjecting to you that so much as I did. But again, I feel like this is a very interesting time. Because now we're seeing far right-wing lunatics also saying, yeah, maybe this whole drug war thing was a waste of our time and energy. Right? That's a win. That's a win. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's a win. And so I wanted to share that. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Law abiding equals white. Yeah, most definitely. All right, folks. So let's talk about this Jackson Hinkle debate because people want me to, so I will. All right. 99% of their core audience ain't watching Gutfeld. Hey, I don't give a shit. It was broadcast. They're advertising it. They're writing articles and marketing it. It's a win. It's a win, folks. All right, so I want to talk about this Jackson Hinkle conversation that was had last night. For those of you that did not see it, I mean, it's really, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to spoil it a little bit. It's basically me trying to get across how identity politics, quote unquote, is actually inextricably linked from a class analysis, and there's really no way you can properly divide put against each other, like, oh, if trans people gain rights in the workplace, that means that workers, quote unquote, are going to lose rights, right? That was kind of like the crux of our disagreement. And so I think that trans people gaining rights in the workplace is necessarily anti-capitalist because it is breaking down divisive barriers between all kinds of workers. If all kinds of workers stop wanting to murder transgender people, then more and more kinds of workers are going to be able to unify in solidarity with each other, and these things are important. I think the idea of saying that every single demonstration needs to be entirely focused on like tax redistribution or something, I think is ridiculous. And so that was the point I was trying to get across. So I'm going to be honest, like again, and I said this after the debate on my little post-debate wrap-up, which I might cut as a separate video, I'm not sure. But I was like extremely high, and I was also pretty drunk last night. I'm not going to lie to you. And so I'm going to be honest, like, I barely was listening to anything he was saying, and I have no problem admitting that because what he was saying was a bunch of irrelevant garbage. Like, he went into this debate trying to, like, keep score, right? And at the end, he was, like, literally reading on a notepad, like, a list of the scorekeeping, and none of it made any sense whatsoever. Where he was trying to, like, redefine things halfway through the argument and talk about how if trans people demand rights in the workplace, that is like stealing rights away from workers or something. Again, I really don't understand this whole mentality that it's like everything is a zero-sum conversation, right? Where it's like, workers, whatever workers means, because he said workers isn't someone that has a job and works. Worker is more of like, it's a classical phrase that it's a worker who, they make a specific amount of income and they have a specific blue collar point of view. Like, worker is if you work for someone else, you're a worker. I mean, it's that simple. So, like, but he was trying to, like, drive a wedge between oppressed peoples, like black people, immigrants, gay people, trans people, and workers, as if there is no such thing as a trans worker. There's no such thing as a black worker, right? I mean, again, like, I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's baffling to me. Now, it's one thing, right, to say definitively that you think economic issues should be prioritized over social issues. That at least is an opinion. But to say that social issues detract from economic issues, or to say that trans people wanting rights in the workplace is sapping away rights from the working class, reminds me of the argument like affirmative action is racist because more black people are going to get hired and now the white man has a harder job time. Like, that's what it sounds like to me. And I think I said that at one point, but I'm not sure if I was that explicit. But it's literally the same shit as like the anti-affirmative action stuff. Well, if one black person works in my office and they got hired via affirmative action, that means that a white person who is more qualified got racially profiled out of that. Like, what? What? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. And so, like, the whole conversation was me basically trying to explain that we need an intersectional frame of analysis. And then he was trying to, like, just do point scoring and try to, like, redefine things over and over and over again or whatever. It was really weird. I'm not going to lie. It was really weird. So, I don't know. I also do know that his chat room was extremely bigoted, extremely transphobic, extremely homophobic, extremely racist. And when I called him out on that, because he mentioned the chat at one point because he was like, oh, a chat said this or whatever. And so I brought up that, like, his chat is also saying a lot of extremely offensive garbage. And he's like, I didn't see that anywhere. I'm sorry, if you didn't see that anywhere. I mean, it's very interesting that your eyes somehow manage to look at the chat when you're reading a message you agree with or that says that you're a beast. You know, like, oh, someone said that I'm kicking ass and I'm super smart. I'm going to read that chat message. But everyone else calling the person a tranny, I'm going to pretend that doesn't exist. Right? So, you know, I find that whole thing to be bizarre. I don't think anyone in my chat was, you know, using any sort of, you know, slurs against Jackson Hinkle. Maybe calling him a little self-indulgent, but that's, you know, that's fine in my opinion. But anyway, I'm curious how the people in the chat think. Like, what do y'all think about how the conversation went? Now, my thing, and again, I didn't go into this thinking that there's going to be, like, point scoring. Now, again, I said this, like a week ago. I knew going into this that it was going to be him basically talking over me, and then I'm going to get harassed by right-wing trolls for the next couple of days. So that's all. My prediction is already being made true. But again, I don't go into conversations or debates or whatever trying to win. I wasn't debating Jackson Hinkle, more so trying to, like, have a conversation to present my worldview to his audience. And I did get a considerable number, considering, you know, what we're dealing with here. I got, like, 5 or 6 people, as of, like, you know, the live show itself, who did send me messages, saying that, like, they didn't know who I was and never heard of me, but they thought Jackson Hinkle was rude to me. And at the end, Jackson Hinkle just starts yelling over me, and then he rage quit the debate. Like, he claimed victory and then ran away. Like, that's weird, right? Like, that's weird. Like, to claim victory and then leave the call, you know, like, that's strange. Like, that's not, you know, that's not normally how you win something. Like, you win something by having a goal, a predefined goal, reaching that goal first before the other person. That's usually how you win. You don't win by making up the goal at the end, saying that you won, and then leaving the call. That's not a win at all. But again, I did get people from his audience that thought that he was rude and stupid and was talking over me and talking down to me, and that I presented myself well enough. And that's really all I care about. Like, I don't go into these debates trying to win against the person I'm talking to. I'm more so talking to the people that listen to him, and I'm trying to get them out of that kind of pipeline that they're in. And I think that was a success. I think, like, my goal, my define of success is at least one person who watches or watched Jackson Hinkle to hear what I have to say and think that I presented myself better, and then stop watching Jackson Hinkle and become a more intersectional person. If I can evolve or change at least one person's perspective for the better, that's a win. That's a win for me. And if you look at the comment section, in between people calling me tranny, saying that I'm a man and saying that I'm a gay faggot or whatever, in between all of those comments, you will find people that are saying, Jackson, what the hell are you doing? One, why are you letting these people run rampant in your stream using, slurs and hate speech? Two, why are you pretending they don't exist? Three, why is everyone, attacking a trans person for just saying trans people exist and should be, so, again, I consider that a win. So I don't care, what his posturing is. To me, that's irrelevant. I didn't go into the conversation, thinking, oh, what is Jackson Hinkle gonna say about this? Because, again, in the same way that a billionaire is going to talk about how they earned all their money, of course someone who is a debate bro is going to go in there who's writing notes down the entire time and trying to keep points, but doesn't tell the other person about that, and then they claim victory and then rage quit the call. Of course they have a vested interest in making themselves look like they're not a bad person. Right? It's not like there was no vote, there was no poll, there was no moderator. There was no objective standard or goal set beforehand. You cannot win a debate unless the win is defined previously. You cannot, at the end of a conversation, make up a rule and say you achieved it first and therefore you win. Because what if my definition of winning is saying Well, I said first, therefore I win. Does that make any sense? No. But anyway, he won't want to speak with me again. That's the vibe I picked up. And here's another thing about how I do these debates. Now, again, we didn't schedule a specific, end time. And I like it that way. Because I can talk forever. I'm perfectly fine, basically, being on their platform and being allowed to preach my worldview for as long as I want. Right? And that's evident in the fact that he rage quit the conversation. He kept trying to wrap it up. And then I basically I got into a point where I wouldn't let him wrap it up on his terms, and that's why he rage quit the conversation, right? And so I think, again, I was willing to go until midnight. I was willing to go until 3 a.m. That's fine with me. So I liked putting the ball in his court. He had to rage quit. That was the only way for the debate to end, was for him to rage quit. I find that to be fun as well. And also we got this classic clip. Hold up, folks. We got the classic clip. Did y'all hear about this classic clip? It's classic. It's a clip. It exists.
Failure. Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
We got him to admit that force the vote was a failure?
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
That's a win. That's a win, folks. Andrea can go all night. Hey, you don't even know. Unknown Stoyle, you don't even know? I've got unlimited stamina, and it's all the drugs that I consume. Another thing that I found really enjoyable about the Hinkle debate, and this was expressed to me in people's DMs and such, was that I was casually smoking weed on stream the whole time, and he was working himself into a tizzy, and the juxtaposition of me just kind of chilling there smoking weed and kind of having a conversation, and him writing things down in a notepad and reading his notes the whole time. I think that is a pretty fun juxtaposition. Again, I don't go into these conversations trying hard. I don't care, so I appreciated that one. It's a banger of a classic clip. It is. It's absolutely a banger. It's going in the intro and the outro. I haven't seen the debate yet, but I think you did a great job. That is the exact form of uncritical opinion that I'm trying to foster at this podcast industry. I want everyone to not watch anything that I say, but just assume that it's good at all times. That's the ideal scenario. yeah, if anyone has any more comments or whatever, let me know. Folks, let's talk about cryptocurrency real quick. Not good. Actually, that's not that bad. See, my thing is if someone says, like, I think that there's a lot of phrases and, like, buzzwords that when someone says them, they're not that smart. Right? And, like, I consider woke. If someone says the term woke, chances are you're not going to get a profound political analysis. And I put PMC in the same group. Like, PMC is dividing the working class. They're parasites and they're dividing the working class. The PMC, they're leeches. They're subverting working class interests for the sake of... Like, no one... Like, again, no one knows what the fuck that means. And it's also, like, trying to, like, define people's intentions without knowing anything about them is bizarre. Like, his definition of PMC made no sense. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't... Like, these are, like, if you are terminally online and you spend all day, every day in, like, Soviet LARP Discord servers and you're on, like, tanky Twitter all day and, like, every single day, every single hour of every single day you're scrolling Twitter and reading the latest Marxism Digest, ultra-communist, super anti-PMC, working class, like, you know, I'm harvesting crops in fucking 1974 Lithuania, like that, like, if that's the LARP that you're engaging in on a daily basis, you might find that kind of behavior, interesting, or like you might understand what these words mean, but 99% of people have no fucking idea what the fuck PMC is dividing the working class. Like, no one knows what that means. No one cares, right? To say that a manager at Wendy's is PMC, what? Like, someone who is the manager at Wendy's, sure, they might take advantage of their managerial position, sure. Their managerial position by default is upholding the form of hierarchy within the workplace, but also to claim that the manager of Wendy's is on the same team or is just as bad as the CEO is like, huh? Right? Like, what? Like, that's bizarre. That's bizarre. It's strange. I thought it was a settled debate. Why did it take 3 hours? No, that's a good question. The funniest part when his chat was so infatuated with your Antifa. Yeah, that was a really good part as well, actually. Was that half the chat thinks that Antifa are the real fascists, but then half the chat thought that I was a shit lib who was, like, not really Antifa, or whatever the fuck that even means, right? So, like, and they were fighting... Right, so you had the people like, oh, this is a shit lib, id Paul rad lib pretending to be Antifa, whatever that means, right? And to them that means something, but to everyone else it doesn't. And then on the other side is Antifa are the real fascists, they're going against, and Trump is our savior, right? And so it's like, seeing those, like, the force to vote dum-dums, right, go up against, like, actual conservatives. And then, like, I hope that at least some of them realize, and I think some of them did. Because I read comments and people sent me some messages from Hinkle's audience. People were like, I feel bad for even being a fan of Jackson Hinkle. Like, I had no idea that there were so many rabid right-wing bigots in his audience. And so, you know, like, that's a win for me. I consider that a win. Like, I'm not going to get someone that despises transgender people, like, to all of a sudden wake up and realize that trans people shouldn't be killed or should have, you know, their rights shouldn't be taken away or they shouldn't be discriminated against. Right. If someone is deep within that world, my appearance isn't going to change them. But if someone is, like, on the verge or someone is susceptible to that message, that's my goal, is to reach that person. And I think that I did. Another half thought that I voted for Warren. That's also really funny because in the debate itself, I specifically said Warren voters were stupid. Because Jackson Hinkle brought up Warren voters. And also, I literally have, like, Bernie... Like, I don't know if this was visible on his stream because of the way he cropped it, but I have Bernie shit all over my room. Like, I worked with the Bernie campaign. I volunteered. I traveled to different areas of the country to canvass for Bernie. I was one of the, if not the, biggest Bernie supporter in the history of Bernie supporters. So the idea that they think that because I respect the rights of transgender people that all of a sudden I must be a Warren voter? Anastasia, I brought, like, he mentioned how the chat was agreeing with him or something. Like, for whatever reason, near the end. And then I brought up that his chat was posting a lot of bigoted garbage. And he's like, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I don't endorse it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. When, like, you can see him looking at the chat the entire time. Like, he was clearly lying. And that's fine. Right? If you want to lie in that instance because you don't actually endorse transphobia or bigotry outright, you prefer the coded transphobia. You prefer attacking trans people, but like not calling them trannies. If that's your preferred form of transphobia, okay, that's fine, right? At least I got him to admit that open, outright bigotry and slurring is bad, right? So that's pretty funny. But I have no doubt after conversing with Jackson Hinkle that he is in fact a bigoted person. Because, like, he's the same kind of guy that would go to, like, a Black Lives Matter rally and say, all lives matter. Why are y'all talking about Black Lives Matter? What we really need to be talking about is the working class and our economic... Like, imagine, like, that's what I think. Like, Jackson Hinkle's going to, like, a Black Lives Matter rally and walking up to people, don't you know that we should be advocating for a higher minimum wage? Like, you know what? You know, like, that's weird. That's weird. We got Max the dog here. Max! Max. Oh. Look at him. Look at him. My baby. My baby. My baby. Yeah, and also, again, if you are siding with a rich millionaire trust fund baby whose parents work for the U.S. government, that's Dave Chappelle, if you are defending him over trans people that got fired because they decided to speak out against their employee or employer, right, think about that, though. Like, that was the crux of the argument. Is he's defending literal like, Dave Chappelle is working class in his mind, and writers that got discriminated against at their place of employment are PMC? Huh? You know, like, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. But in their world, millionaire trust fund babies are part of the working class. And if you're black, sorry, you're woke. If you're gay, you're woke. Anyone who's not white is political. Anyone who's not straight is political. Anyone who's not cisgender is political. It's white, cis, straight Christians and political people. And that's just such a bizarre thing. It's so bizarre. Unless, of course, that political person agrees with me. Like, if that black person upholds white supremacy, or that trans person upholds cis supremacy, or, you know, that kind of stuff, right? Then they're fine. But if they actually advocate for their own best interest, that's bad, apparently. He didn't say outright Chappelle is working class, but the implication that Netflix workers are leeches for trying to cancel Chappelle implies that it's leeches versus the working class, right? transphobia, homophobia, etc. is literally imperialist programming. That's exactly the point I was trying to get across. Now, again, I know at least half of his audience is far right, right? And so one of the things I tried to get across was that Trump voters are stupid. Republicans are stupid. And I know a lot of his audience, if you remember, if you look at the chat, when I said that all Republicans and Trump voters are fucking stupid, they got extremely upset. But again, if you are a poor person and you're voting for a rich person to cut the taxes of rich people and to add taxes to poor people because they also don't like gay people and you don't like gay people, you're stupid. You're stupid. Like, you are a stupid motherfucker. And I want you to not be stupid. I want you to change your opinions. I want you to be less stupid over time. And I will advocate for that. And I will try to push you in that direction. But if you are a poor person voting for Donald Trump, you are stupid. Right? And I tried to get across that the identity politics, Black Lives Matter, is not identity politics. Killing black people disproportionately or arresting black people disproportionately compared to other people of other races, that is identity politics. It's not, oh, the uppity black person is saying that they shouldn't be shot and killed by cops. How dare they try to bring IDPOL into this? Oh, gay people want the right to marry just like everyone else. Those ID politics morons. Don't they realize that they should be second-class citizens? That's what I'm saying, Anastasia. Pitting trans rights against workers' rights doesn't achieve anything as a harmful distraction. That is the main point that I was trying to make. What am I drinking? Don't worry about it. I'm on a little bit of a bender right now, so just, leave me be. It is literally morning. I am aware of the location of the sun as it is in the sky in my current living location. I'm aware of that and how the sun is peering through my window. Now I have blackout curtain at the moment. So I'm, also not aware, but I'm aware from a logical standpoint looking at the time on my computer of where the sun is in the sky. And personally, I reject these hierarchical forms of, saying that you shouldn't do certain things at certain times. Personally, I don't believe in that. I think that that's the man trying to bring you down. Hair of the Max. I'm on a bender. It happens. Hoss Bogman's Boss Man's big news. Where? What's the big news? Did I miss it? I was extra proud to be an abover last night. Hell yeah. Is that the big news? What was this deal? I mean, again, the terror person couldn't be a very bad person. That doesn't matter, though. It's irrelevant to the situation. Like if you're making an analysis or an autopsy, right, and you're trying to figure out where things went wrong, how to improve it for next time, you could say maybe the organizer shouldn't be someone with a public history like that. That's fine. I've been in similar situations, right? So that's a completely separate thing from saying that the demonstration, the action itself, has no basis because the organizer said something bad at some point. Because, Jackson Hinkle has said bad things at some point. Does that mean he shouldn't have gone to the Capitol steps and pleaded with Congress to force the vote and got arrested? I mean, if he wants to do that, that's fine. Right, but because he said transphobic things on a debate with me or whatever, does that mean he shouldn't be allowed to be a political organizer? If he changes his tune and he grows and matures, that's a good thing. I mean, that's something that you should want. You should want Warren supporters. Someone who supported Elizabeth Warren in 2019, like doing direct action, political organizing, that's good. That's in the right direction. That's in the right direction, and that kind of thing should be commended. Cashews, Mila. I am very not sober right now, so I'm trying to read this. Okay. Cashews, 'S, quote, about to publish a, I don't know what, like cashew is a kind of nut, right? But anyway, about to publish a recent interview with Ben Burgess in which we talk Chappelle, kind of old news at this point, and I ask him about his interactions with Andrea. Who is Cashew? Oh, Cashew is Boss Man. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I just looked up 3 messages. Okay. I'm releasing a Ben Burgess interview soon in which I ask him about his interaction with you. He was pretty nice about it. Okay. So, now again, I want to say at least Jackson Hinkle actually debated me. It took him long enough, but at least he did it. I honestly don't care about Ben Burgess being nice about me. In an interview, I don't care because I do think his behavior throughout. Now again, I insulted him. That's true. That's very true. But I also apologized for it. It reminds me of when Dave Rubin canceled the Majority Report because like Michael Brooks called him dumb and then said he wouldn't debate, you know, like even though they apologized. But that it has that same energy of someone was being over the top and silly and called me stupid, and then they said sorry, but I'm not going to debate them because they were being silly, over the top, and called me stupid. To me, that's like an elitist kind of like anti-fun energy that I feel like is just annoying to be around. But then also, you have to factor in Ben Burgess literally thinks that January 6th was no big deal. I think it is one of the most important moments in U.S. history. I think especially, look, like Trump and Biden are tied in 2024 polling. The entire Republican Party basically says January 6th was just a normal tour or a protest. Right, there were memos within the Trump administration detailing how they're going to steal the election. They won in Virginia in 2021 and lost in New Jersey. So in New Jersey, the election's rigged, but in Virginia, the election was just fine. They're trying to strip voting rights from people all across the country. And Ben Burgess thinks that all of that is irrelevant. Not only is it irrelevant, but talking about it is a distraction. Right, to me, I find that position so unbelievably childish that I it's hard for me to get over it. But again, you can tell, if you watched my debate with Jackson Hinkle, I am a very polite person. When it comes to having a conversation with someone, I'm extremely polite. I am a very nice person in a debate. So the idea that Ben Burgess is afraid to debate me because I'll be rude to him is a little silly. Haas, if you can send me that, I would love it. Please, like, DM that to me. I think I may need to catch up on some more DMs from you. But DM that to me as well, because I would love to talk about that on a show. Max! Max! Maxie! Max! Look at this dog. DB Cooper just in time. Look at this doggy, look at this dog. Everybody loves the doggy dog. Look at the doggy, look at the doggy. Wait. Look at the doggy, look at the dog. Look at the dog on doggy dog. Ooh. Max was, I'm gonna be honest, folks. I'm not gonna lie. Max was the most adorable fucking doggy in the world last night. Like, he kept waking me up, but that's okay. Because he would constantly be sitting on me, and, like, he would sit on my leg, and I would wake up, because, you know, it was scary. So he would sit on my leg, and then he would stop sitting on my leg, and then he would, like, lay on my chest. Now, again, this guy's like 60, 70 pounds, right? Like, he's pretty fucking heavy. So if I'm deep in it, if I'm sleeping, if I'm comatose, and a giant 60-pound sack of fucking beetroots lands on my goddamn chest, and he doesn't, like, sit down, like, you know, like, slowly over time. He, like, gets his spot, and then he plops. He's a plopper. He's a fucking plopper. Right, so he plops on me. I wake up and I'm like, right. So, but what a dog! I mean, what a dog! Look at him. He's in his own world right now. He's just like Jackson Inkle. Hey, Haas and Mila. Again, I want to be very clear with my take on Ben Burgess. Do I have his book? I do. It's on the floor, but that's where it belongs. Let's be honest. All right. So, I have his book. I need y'all to understand this because apparently Ben Burgess does not. And also, just for the sake of my own self, if I'm ever in a situation where a fan of mine tries to have a conversation with me about something that they think I'm wrong on, and I do what Ben Burgess did to me, again, I feel like I should be canceled for that. Now, that's just my opinion. Like, if I get like 500 viewers a stream, 5,000 viewers a stream, and if I'm ever in a position where a fan disagrees with me, right, on something like, you know, of this kind of magnitude or whatever, and treats me with the kind of respect, like, that I treated, and I was so rude to them or whatever, that's a problem for me, so I never want to do that. But again, I criticized him, and yes, I called him, like, dumb as a shit fuck or something. Is that rude? Maybe. Absolutely. But again, the most important part, in my opinion, is that we had a conversation in DMs. I apologized in DMs. He accepted my apology. We continued to have a conversation, and then later on, he lied about my intentions. He lied about my apology. He lied about accepting my apology. And that's, to me, that's the problem. But again, I'm not the one who's divisive here. If Ben wants to heal the divide, I'm perfectly willing. I bet, like, that's what I've been trying to do the whole time. Right? I want to heal the divide. I don't think he's got the right take on January 6th. I think he's dead wrong. I think his opinion on January 6th is very bad, and it's doing a really big disservice to left-wing discourse. And so that's what the whole reason I criticized him from the jump was because I wanted to heal the divide. So, like, if that message that I just gave can be translated to him, that would be great. Because again, it is uncomfortable to have, like, some weird feud with someone that I used to kind of respect, and for them to just kind of lie about my intentions openly. That's weird. Like, it's very strange. And I'm all about change. Like, you know, I'm all about, I had a really bad take. Let me read some new info on it and then update my position. Like, I think that this is a really terminally online thing, right? Where people have a position and they feel the need that once they make a position public that they need to defend that position at all costs because they can't be wrong. You know? That to me is something like, I have many positions, but if new information comes out and it changes my position, I'm going to change my position. Right? Like, but people, like, he wrote a piece in Jacobin about January 6th, like a week after it happened or something. And he's felt like a bizarre, Ben Burgess has felt like a bizarre, like, you know, religious need to cling to that piece because he can't evolve with new info. He can't change with new info. He can't look at the response from the right wing and say that, wow, they're really trying to pretend this is something that it wasn't and this is bad actually, and it's gonna, like, he feels like he needs to defend, and that's why he links that Jacobin piece all the time. Right? He wrote something at a time without, like, there was significantly less information about the January 6th insurrection on January 14th than there is now. There's just way more info now. Right? And so when there's more info, you change your take. You adapt that to the new information. You know? And so that's my big, like, main criticisms of that kind of thing. And I do genuinely try not to fall victim to the main character syndrome of online political discourse. I don't want my show to turn into that kind of, like, point scoring, like, what did you say at this time? Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I just don't care about any of that. I'm having fun just kind of shitting with the chat, though, so feel free to keep talking. I heard that. I mean, I didn't hide it, so I would hope you heard it. My microphone's pretty good. What am I sipping on? I am sipping on some whiskey. Yeah, one of my biggest problems, though, with online debate culture, and this goes back to Jackson Hinkle, and I do apply this criticism to Ben Burgess, is people feel the need to brand themselves at all times. Like, my brand... Like, I think me smoking and drinking during a debate and just kind of chilling, that's my brand. I'm just a regular person. That's just, I'm not trying to be anything I'm not. I'm not trying to win in any games. I'm not trying to, like, you know, do, like, psychological manipulation of people. You know? I'm just, like, a normal person having conversations. Right? And that's my brand. But people... when they turn a camera on, they feel the need to brand themselves and, like, play up certain parts of their personality. To me, if you've met me in real life, you know, now, yeah, I'm not going to, like, you know, talk about, like, my personal life. I'm not going to talk about my family or, you know, my private relationships or anything too much. You know, I have privacy, right? But if you've met me in real life, I'm basically... the same person. And that's because I really, like, the idea of playing characters, to me, I can't do it. I like, you know? DB Cooper, no one cares about what you're talking about. I'm letting you know no one gives a shit. And also, it is important to look at Jackson Hinkle's background. He's a trust fund baby. He's rich. He's white. He's cisgender. He's straight. He doesn't give a fuck about the struggle of being a minority in this society. He doesn't give a fuck at all about what it's like to be trans and poor in the workplace. He is a rich, silver spoon-fed trust fund baby. That's what he is, Jackson Hinkle. So, and I, on the other hand, I've been poor all of my life, right? I've had a pretty rough childhood. I'm not a perfect person. I've dealt with a lot of problems. But I also recognize that, hey, my ability to not have to work at Wendy's or Food Lion or Domino's or whatever, and instead I can talk on a podcast and make enough money to pay my rent, that to me is such a profound privilege that to me, I can't even begin to explain how grateful I am that I am able to be someone that can pay my rent based on my YouTube stream. Wow. But I'm not going to sell the people out below me because I'm in that position. And that's the kind of thing that Jackson Hinkle and the people like him do, right? Is they shit on people below them at all times because they're trying to climb the ladder. And I can't do that. I will eternally advocate on behalf of the most, if you want to look at the world through an intersectional analysis and you want to play the oppression Olympics thing where you quantify what struggle is or whatever, I will always defend the rights and try to help people that are in the worst position at all times. I'm not going to punch down. I only punch up. I'm not going to try to shit on people. Oh, that's not a real struggle, I say, being a trust fund baby. Has Jackson Hinkle ever been homeless? I'm curious. And maybe he has. Maybe the info that I have on him is incorrect. It's possible. Has he ever not gotten a job because of his race or his gender or his sexual orientation? Has he ever been the victim of a hate crime? Has he ever had people assault him or his family based on his gender identity? I don't think so. Maxie. See ya, Umar. DB Cooper, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I don't care about, again, I want to be very clear. You are like a pet zebra for us. We keep you around as entertainment. We got Max the dog over here. Come on, Maxie. Come the hell up here. Come on. I love this motherfucker. Oh. Look at this dog. Look at this dog. This is my life every day. I just have this animal. And again, it is a profound privilege to work from home and just be able to be around this beautiful dog for most of my day. Other than when I protest or sometimes I'll, get takeout or something. Very rarely. I did yesterday. But I just get to spend my life with this animal. And it's... wow, right? It is incredible. Anyway, folks, I'm down to keep streaming, I guess, for a little bit. But I'm probably going to be ending the stream at some point soon. So, just letting y'all know that. I'm making y'all aware that the stream will be ending at some point. Apparently, it's buffering. YouTube is buffering, question mark. Is this real life? Is this real life? My audio and video are out of sync. I think that's a YouTube problem. Do I spray my face with salt water? No, I don't. Look at this dog, by the way. He's just like dead behind me. But yeah, if anyone has any more questions or comments that they want me to read right now, let me know, because otherwise I'm probably going to end the stream soon. Creative vibes, gotta write a paper. Alright, how about this? How about that? Was that good? Anyway, folks, tonight where the fuck is Catherine? Someone get this bitch in here. Tonight is the night. It's happening, folks. Gotta find a memory card, but I'm sure I've got one lying somewhere. I was gonna play this last night, but the debate ran a little long. I wasn't sure. Part of me was thinking it would be like 30 minutes and then he would rage quit, but it took him 2 hours to rage quit. Can I do something special once I hit 10,000 subs? First of all, I don't do specials. I just do specials all the time anyway. So I don't do specials based on sub counts. I should maybe though. Also, I'm never gonna hit 10,000 subs. Like, let's be honest here. Like, y'all have seen my sub count. Let's check this out. Just a little behind the scenes here. I am never gonna hit 10,000 subscribers. It's just not gonna happen. It's just an impossibility. So let me look at my analytics here. I'm going to show this on stream in a sec. In a sec, I'm going to throw this up on screen. But it's just not going to happen. And here's why. Okay, let me make this big screen. Big screen, folks. Never mind. Okay. I don't know how to do this. Wow, alright, okay. Here we go. Here we go. So if you look at this, you will notice I will never hit 10,000. Because, like, let's look at this. It's the last 90 days. I have lost subscribers. Let's just look at 2021. Okay. I have plateaued at around 9,800 since August. It's just not going to happen. But I'm just letting y'all know, this is the plateau. I will never reach 10,000. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind. Oh, my channel's been monetized. I've had my channel since I was a teenager. So I've had my channel was monetized, like, when monetization was open to everyone. So I would love to go on Vouch, Lead Striker, but I have yet to be invited. But yeah, unless, like, people do some serious advertising for me, because I'm not going to advertise myself. But unless people do some serious advertising for me, I'm never reaching 10K, and I'm okay with that. I don't care. Like, would I like to have 10,000 subscribers? Sure, but really, what's the functional difference between having, like, 9882 and 10,000? Really, there is no functional difference. DB Cooper, I have a lot of personal motivation and work ethic. I don't understand what your analysis even is about. I love my job. I think my job is one of the most fulfilling jobs that anyone can have. I work for myself. I do what I want, when I want. I make enough money to feed myself, my dog, other members of my family if they need help. My work is solely focused on what I want to do. I have maximum creative input and freedom. My job is fantastic. So, don't quite know what that means, but what are you going to do? I love my job. Like, I thank God every day, and I don't even believe in God. But I should call into the Majority Report and advertise. How about this, Banjo Bill? You call into the Majority Report and advertise me, and then I will shout you out. Is that a transaction we can make? Because I don't want to sit on hold for like 3 hours every day until I might get picked up. Because that's how the Majority Report works. You call, you sit on hold for 3 hours, they don't answer you, and then maybe within 6 months you'll get answered. Maybe. And then even then, it's kind of a crapshoot. Right? So if you want to do that for me, I would appreciate it. But I do not have the time, nor do I have the energy to put forth into that project. But I would do it if I had the Fast Pass. Like, I had the Fast Pass when I did the protest call a couple months ago. I got a lot of subscribers and viewers for being on No Mickey Con's show. That's true. That was a big bump for me. Absolutely. Well, Nomiki asked me to come on her show. Vouch, I've asked Vouch to go on his show, and I've never gotten a response. So, apparently you're a huge Vouch fanboy, Lead Striker, so feel free to go put in a good word. I wouldn't mind. I am huge on personal responsibility. I think all people should always work to better themselves. Absolutely. But then there's like Republicans who think that personal responsibility is the end all be all. Everyone is born in different situations. Everyone is born with different privileges. Some people are born and they start at zero and they can build their own lives themselves. Some people are born at minus 3,000 and they have to spend 20 years, like, you know, working out of poverty or debt, or like their parents have addiction problems, gambling problems, their parents are poor, you know, they get straddled with debt, they have to help their family survive. Let's say their grandmother is sick and they're the only person in the family that can take care of it. A lot of people have different situations when they grow up. Not everyone starts at a solid zero. Like, for most of my life was picking up the pieces of my parents. Most of my life was spent taking care of one of my parents until she passed. And then, like, from that point, I was like, oh, shit, I guess I have to take care of myself now. But I mean, like, you know, people live in different situations. Not everyone has, like, two parents that are super loving and, like, can provide to them the world and don't need anything. Some people have to take care of their family. Some people have to start their lives in debt. I started my life in debt. My family was poor, and throughout most of my life, my family, like, direct family members were sick, and I had to spend a lot of money and time taking care of them. If I would have just made a choice, I guess I could have made a choice just to say, hey, fuck you, Mom. I'm 13 years old. I'm going to run away and be a foster child. I could have made that choice, sure. But that doesn't make any sense, you know? So? But again, I mean, the idea that everyone starts at zero and it's all personal responsibility is ridiculous. But there is personal responsibility. There's also, like, people love to externalize their problems, right? And I understand that. There is absolutely a victim mentality that can lead to people never striving for personal improvement. I understand that is also very true, right? And I look, when it comes to this, I look at diet. Diet is important, right? D, if you want to help organize that, I would love it. I would appreciate that a lot. And feel free to email me. I know that you have my email address. Feel free to email me with more info, and I'll check it out later. But I think, like, personal responsibility is a huge thing. Absolutely. And I think that in left-wing circles, I think personal responsibility is far too minimized. I really do feel that. But, you know, like, again, and I look at diet. Like, I spent most of my life having severe medical issues because my parents fed me like garbage. I would eat fast food and ice cream and candy all day, every day as a kid. I had no vegetables, no fiber. I drank soda all the time. My parents raised me to be extremely unhealthy, and I had significant health problems up until I was 22. And then I decided, hey, I'm going to look into this diet thing, and it fixed almost all of my health problems. So, I mean, again, that's a big thing for me. You know? Smoking. People smoke cigarettes. I mean, I'm drinking alcohol right now at 10 in the morning, right? People have their vices. That's completely, you know. But it's like, you know, there's a balance in it, in my estimation. You need to balance things out. There's moderation, there's control, there's, you know, and I'm not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I figured everything out and I'm maximizing everything. I'm not going to tell you that, because that would be a lie. But I always strive to improve myself. Like, yes, we need to fix systemic conditions that lead to people starting their lives in significant debt. Absolutely. But then also, to achieve that, we need to stop buying McDonald's. Stop spending money at Burger King and Wendy's and Sonic and Bojangles. Because let's be honest, and yet you participate in society, blah, blah, blah. This just reminded me, folks. I want to read to you an email. I have an appointment that I have to do in like an hour from now. So, I'm going to try to sober up after the show is over. But I want to read you an email. DB Cooper, I don't care about trade school. I don't care about having a useful degree. I am doing exactly what I like. I make enough money to feed myself and my family. I can pay my rent and I live comfortably. That to me, I'm good. And I do all of those things without selling out to another person. Folks, I got an email. And let me see if I got a response. Oh my God. So you know that video, the CNN video with the 12 gallons of milk? Well, the individuals featured in that video found my video and emailed me about it. So I'm trying to get them on the show. So, that's something I'm trying to do. And I think that's really funny. So. DB Cooper, I will never stop complaining about the problems in society. I'm sorry. You can't get me to shut up. I'm allowed to have my opinion. First Amendment. Zeroing in on personal responsibility doesn't lead to positive change unless you are someone doing spiritual or social work with people. I would call it personal evolution, though. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think we do need a balance between personal responsibility and collective systemic problems, right? But again, like, and this is my big thing. If you are a poor person and you vote for Donald Trump because you think Donald Trump is going to ban black people from being teachers, you're dumb. You're dumb. You're dumb. I'm sorry. Like, you're just dumb. And you need to personally evolve on those positions before I take you seriously. Right? Like, that's, like, there are people that are personally, like, DB Cooper, for example, probably is not a billionaire, yet they spend almost their entire life, at least all of their chat messages in this chat room are spent defending billionaires, defending the systems of governance that support billionaires, that engage in billionaire reproduction at the expense of thousands and millions of other people, right? So, but they're not a billionaire, but they spend their energy and time rooting for the enemy team. It's weird. It's weird. But again, if DB Cooper watches my stream for 6 more months, 3 years, 10 years, and eventually they realize how stupid they are being right now, that's a win. That's a win. And that's my goal. When I say things like 95% of Americans don't know how to feed themselves, it's because I know that there are people watching my stream that haven't made vegetables or cooked vegetables for themselves in maybe 2 or 3 decades. And I want them to maybe consider it. If someone comes into my stream, doesn't know I'm trans, and then starts hating trans people, and then I tell them I'm trans, and they realize, oh shit, wait a second, I had no idea you were trans, this makes me rethink my entire position, that's good. I want them to rethink their positions. If someone finds my show because I do Black Lives Matter material, and they think that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization, someone said that earlier, and then they watch my videos, and then they listen to what I have to say, and they listen to the people I interview, what they have to say, and they come to the conclusion that, oh, maybe Black Lives Matter isn't a centralized terror organization, or whatever the fuck they believed before, and they think that, oh, maybe it's just a political rallying cry, like, you know, that people can find solidarity with. That's a good thing. I want that. But also, that's not my goal is not to appease those people. I'm not going to compromise my position on behalf of those people. I'm not going to spend my time and energy trying to specifically cater to that person. But if that person finds their way across my content and changes their mind and becomes a better person, that's good. Like, there are so many people that message me that say that they're vegetarians now because of my content, that say that they take health and fitness more seriously because of my content, people that say that they take mental health more seriously because of... Wow. You know, like, to me, I could kill myself right now. I'm just, you know, being facetious. And my life would be a success. If I could have made one, I guess 2 people, you know, like, if, you know, like, if you're gonna, you know, if I can make at least 2 people's lives better, then my life has been worth it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to kill myself, of course. I was just, you know, making a statement. But my point is that I feel like I've already accomplished my life mission. And so at this point, it's all bonus. Like, anyone else I can convince to better themselves, if that's a win. Anyone else. If I get 5 people that completely revamp their diets and change their lives for the better, if I get 10 people that take, like, you know, meditation more seriously, and then, like, they become smarter or more content or less angry, or they have anger management problems, and, you know, and they start meditating, and then they become more at peace with their lives or whatever, and they're able to focus on things. That's whew. I mean, like, you know, y'all know who you are that send me these messages. You know, sometimes I read them, and I'm like, God damn. God damn. And my thing as well is I am 25 years old. Now, a lot of people that watch my stream are older than me. Shoutouts to Mila. I am 25 years old, folks. Like, if I can tell you that I feel like my life is fulfilled, like my life mission right now is fulfilled at age 25. If I'm like, you know, swimming in bonus material for 50, 60, 80, 175 more years, that's like, you know, I've already, according to other people, I've already helped at least 2 people better themselves and their lives and their understanding of the universe. To me, this is all just this bonus material. And I personally, at this moment in my life, I want to dedicate my life and my career to helping other people. And I think that a lot of that has to do with yes, personal responsibility. You know, members of Congress are not listening to my show, but regular people are. Regular people that can maybe skip that Mickey D's. That maybe can, you know, think about how to, you know, properly analyze, like, whatever I don't know. I'm a little drunk right now, so please bear with me. But, like, one of the big things that I find that's a problem with online, like, media is people, yes, attacking systems of power is very important. And I never want to downplay that. But those systems of power ignore us. Right? Like, they ignore us. They don't care what we say. And so I want someone to watch my content, and I want them to have a solution that they can integrate into their lives instantly. Like saying, yeah, we want Medicare for all. You can't integrate that into your life. You can't do that. But quitting fast food, cooking for yourself, learning how to cook, investing time and energy in self-improvement, fitness, meditation, mental health, those are all things you can do right now. Like, people listening to what I have to say right now, when I stop the stream, couldn't go cook themselves a nice healthy meal right now. They don't have to like focus on a political organization. They don't need to, and they should do. Attacking systems is important, absolutely. I didn't say that maybe I did say that they don't care. Let me expand upon that, Umar. They're not like Nancy Pelosi is not going to listen to what I'm saying on my show and then go like, "Oh, I guess we should support Medicare for all now." Like, that's not happening. But I've got 40 viewers in my stream that can. And again, statistically speaking, 95% of Americans don't know how to feed themselves. Right, so I've got 40 viewers in my stream. That means, statistically speaking, 30 of them have never cooked a vegetable in the last, 6 months? I'm just, again, immediate gains. I'm talking about immediate gains. I want to really stress that people need to improve themselves at all times. I feel like the goal of being a human should be constant improvement. Constant improvement. Not only improving yourself, but improving the people around you. We are a social species. We are social creatures. We should be striving to better ourselves, and when we better ourselves, we better the people around us. I mean, I'm telling y'all, go watch Above It All episode 1 and watch all of my Above It All videos that I made from January 1st, 2020 all the way until now. And you will see me evolve in my message, my ability to deliver a message, what I focus on. You will see me learn the entire experience of, doing all this stupid shit. And I know when the pandemic started, I spent, my goal with the pandemic was to improve myself, because I knew that if I improved myself, I would be able to improve other people's lives, because I would have ways to help them out of certain things. Like, if I quit meat, if I quit addictive substances like sugar, I say as I drink alcohol, I'm able to better understand how other people are, where they are, and help them out. I've changed considerably since I started this program. When I started Above It All as a show, night and day, a completely different person. I started the show because I wanted to talk about Bernie Sanders. That was the main impetus behind me doing the show at the beginning. Max the dog is currently dogging it up right now. Maxie! So, I just want people to I want everyone to better themselves, because that pays dividends. When you better yourself, you better other people. When you better other people, they better themselves, and then they better other people, and it's a ripple effect. And I don't care about credit. If I help one person do something and then they help thousands of other people do something, I I don't need credit. That's fine. I just want humans to love each other. That's all I want. I know everyone in the chat is distracted with the zebra, but please understand that the zebra is here for our entertainment. Do not be so far distracted with the antelope that you are missing the grand message. The grand message of this broadcast. The grand message. Oh no. I used to have a Quaker Oats chocolate chip granola bar addiction. Thanks to your show, I switched to Quest bars, then went low on sugar and salt. It's been a boon to my health. Thanks. I don't know if that's a serious message. Like a Quaker Oats chocolate chip granola bar addiction. I've never had them. But you know, if that's true, I mean, that's great. I mean, I love Quest bars. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Quest bars are great. Like if you like chocolate bars or candy bars or whatever, replacing that with a Quest bar is a good way to minimize that addiction for sure. Like I've been through points of my life where I was addicted to candy. Right? And so now I'm going to be honest, I have candies every once in a while. In fact, I might have trash from candy on the floor. I might. In fact, I do, but I'm not going to show you that part. I'll show you the clothes on the floor, but the candy wrappers on the floor, but you know, you can always improve. Like that's the thing, is you can always improve. Like it is impossible to reach like a pinnacle. I think it's just impossible. You will never reach 100% efficiency. It's never going to happen. No matter what. So the goal, in my opinion, should not be striving for protection or perfection, I mean, but the goal should be minimizing damage. If you like candy and you eat it a lot, maybe cut one day a week. Make a week-by-week schedule. I mean, I think scheduling your life in a lot of ways, like cheat days, all that stupid shit, I think that there's a lot of importance in those tools. But you know, it's you know. Dude, DB Cooper is so... The only suicided vet I know was stabbed in the back by a cheating wife. His problem had nothing to do with the military. Most people that experience that don't kill themselves. I'm just saying. I'm throwing that out there. I'm just saying. Anyway, folks, I'm going to try to end this stream because I got to do something in like less than an hour. And I probably should not be wasted when I do this. So, I'm going to have to drink like an entire gallon of water. Hold up. I'm going to drink an entire gallon of water. There was not that much in there. Max the dog is going to take care of me. But again, folks, don't worry about me. I am on a bender, but I've been on benders before. It happens. I'm allowed to bend. It's allowed. It's okay. Every once in a while. Yeah, this may be the fourth one in a month, but that's, you know, that's not important right now. But either way, don't worry about me. I'm good. Worry about yourself. Because... that's it. I don't have a grand message. I'm just going to stop the stream. But anyway, folks, thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it. Y'all are great people. And I will see y'all tonight. Tonight, folks. Tonight. I will be continuing my bender. And I will be playing Silent Hill 2 on the Sony PlayStation 2. This is a PlayStation 2 game. So, and also, again, I know a lot of people that watch my stream, this stream, do not like video games. That's fine. If you liked this stream where it's me rambling and just talking about nonsense, then you will like my video game streams. Imagine it's this, but instead of Nancy Pelosi and a burning car with someone, you know, doing that with a silhouette, it's just moving pixels. Like, that's literally the only and I'll talk about the game and probably how much it makes me come, because this game makes me come. I'm gonna be honest with y'all folks. When I play this game, I come a lot. And I'm just being honest. I'm just being very, very frank with the audience. This game is really good, and I will probably have multiple orgasms while I'm playing it. So imagine this, except I'm, you know, playing it. There's moving pixels there, and I'm just slightly happier. Imagine that. So, that's all I got. I'll see y'all tonight. Y'all have a good one. And that's it.
Force the vote, sure, was a failure. 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 Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black
Force the vote, sure,
shield,
was a failure.
and they pulled out the vote.
Sure, was a failure. Force the vote, sure, was a failure. Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
What's the most important issue in the governor's race here in Virginia?
Getting back to the basics of teaching children, not teaching them critical race theory.
Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
And what is critical race theory?
Sure, was a failure.
Well, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because I don't understand it that much, but it's something that I don't. What little bit that I know, I don't care for.
And what have you heard that you don't?
Well, I'm not going to. You know,
force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I don't.
Force the vote, sure, was a failure. Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
I don't have that much knowledge on it.
Sure, was a failure. Force the vote, sure, was a failure. Force the vote, sure, was a failure.
And in case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt. They hold this institution in contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt. They think that maybe, given all of the crises facing this country, it's about time that there was some bold leadership here and that this institution made some hard choices. In case you don't know, who you worried about? Who I'm worried about? I'm worried about the fact that our workers are seeing a decline in their standard of living. They want to see our industry be rebuilt. That's what they want to see. No more B-2 bombers. No more Star Wars. Let's make the quality products we need. Let's invest in American industry.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.